Hello everyone, today we're having a look at the Iron Forest Kickstarter. Now I have played a prototype very briefly at the UK Games Expo a couple of years ago, so as I'm looking through I'll sort of give my thoughts on how far it's come and well, generally about it. I am a backer. I have pledged for this game. The Kickstarter has 14 days left. So you can jump in on it as well. Now a little bit about Iron Forest. Effectively it's a dexterity game that's sort of a sequel to Icecool 1 and 2. Fantastic penguin themed flicking games, and this is a sort of their attempt at making a slightly more adult version, nearly coming up to £100,000, which is $132,000. So they are hitting some stretch goals. So we'll skip the stretch goals for now, but let's have a look. So the overall look, I don't think it's changed massively, but it certainly looks much more refined from when I saw it originally. They had this sort of rough artwork and style of the Iron Forest, but it certainly wasn't as well done, should we say. It looks nicer, it looks cleaner, and actually the way the top box that you actually launch into, well, that's very different from when I saw it, as is the launcher. So they've got all this sort of rough lore about why you've got the mechs and animals fighting. And let's have a look at these two bits, because these are the bits that I think are, this is what sells me on this game. So Icecool had that bottom box that you can see on the spinning round thing. Now when I played the prototype at UK Games Expo, it's got to have been 2019, it was basically one lot of boxes on directly above another load of boxes. And the problem for that, I found it was a little awkward if things were directly in the middle. Now what they've done is seemingly shrunk the top boxes and sort of put them on a bit of an angle, so you've only got these two bigger boxes at the top, but you've still got the fun of that because there's holes in those boxes for the things you're flicking to actually fall through, or even knock someone else down through into the lower level. And there's sort of one thing about this game is that there are like missions where you are trying to do one thing or another. Not so like in Icecool where it was just like one objective. This is very much, you've got specific missions, and it sounds like at the start of not really a campaign, but the mission 1, the first one you play, it sounds like they're very much each side is trying to do the same thing, but by the end, like mission 4, 5 or whatever, then one team is trying to do something quite different to the other team. Now the launcher is the other thing that has quite changed since I saw it. When I saw it, it was sort of like a launch pipe. It was sort of a pipe, and you'd hit the switch at the bottom, and it would sort of ping it up and out and across, almost like at the fair where you have like the strong hammer, and it was sort of that, then the thing shoots up. It felt a bit like that, and then it would launch this, at the time, kind of like it was a rudimentary mech, almost very much like the penguins of Icecool. Now it looks much more basically like a cool catapult that you pull down and it flings it forward. It looks much nicer, and it looks like it's obviously still designed to get the height, which is the important one. Coming into it, I was a little apprehensive. $85, it's certainly not cheap. It's a Kickstarter exclusive. They don't seem to want to be bringing this to retail. Maybe it's because of all the components and stuff in it, and it's a bit of a treat for myself, to be honest, to back this one. The fact that it's 7 boxes, yes, 2 are on another level, quite literally. There's only 5 boxes in an Icecool. You can buy Icecool 1 and 2 and you've got 10 boxes and do some cool maps and stuff. I would like it to have had somewhere where you could add some variety into those bottom ones. Maybe not so much the top, but hopefully there's a way you can maybe combine this with Icecool. If there's not by default, there will be, I'm sure, with the community. The launcher, again, like, it does look cool, and then you've got these sort of risers and clips and stuff to actually build the structure, so that seems all quite cool. Really liking the look of these, the non-penguins. So you've got these are the animal clans, and then you've got the mech clans, and interestingly, they've gone for slightly different designs on each of them, but in terms of the material used as well. So the bottom half is the same material, but apparently the top half is a very slightly softer material. So when you're flicking it, you know, flicking the penguins over and over again, the games were short, it didn't matter too much, but especially because these have got like sharper edges or patterned, they're not just like a sort of a coned penguin. I'm glad that they're not going to be quite as hard. I like the look of all of them. They've got activation cards which are going to be used in the gameplay. It seems to me at least, very obvious that you are activating this one because you're on the green animal team, and then each of them have a colour. I do feel like this one, the bird one here, is probably going to be the hardest one to sort of flick, because it's got quite a gap at the back, but you know, I could be wrong. And then you've got the Iron Force. I did call them the Mech Force earlier. Again, they've all got red bases, so you can tell they're on the red team nice and easily. And they're all then unique shapes. I don't think any of these are going to be as hard to hit as that red Bubbo, the bird one, basically. I think that might be the hardest to flick. I could be completely off the bat there. And then you have, these are like the objective cards, the scenarios, where, you know, you pick one and you've got to try and do different things. So one team will, in this case, one team is trying to remove certain things on the boxes to win, whereas the animal clan is trying to remove a different set of things. So it's not quite like the fish from before, where you're always trying to collect your fish. In this case, it looks like the animals are trying to collect the fish on the doorways, but then the Iron Force are almost trying to collect something very different. So that's pretty cool. Going through loads of artwork, power-up cards. This is an interesting twist. Obviously, there were a few perks and things you could do ability-wise. If you had like a couple of ones, you could discard them to have like another turn. I think in Icecool 2 there was something to do with so many of the 2s. But yeah, I like the idea. That was a cool concept, and it looks like there's ways to eliminate each other by actually hitting into each other. In this case, you would actually damage them and then maybe remove them from play just for that round. Very important that it's only for that round. There's some dice. I don't really know how they get involved, but it's an interesting concept, maybe to track healths or different things like that, or something to do with the objectives. You've got turn orders. It never really was a problem to remember that, but it's nice to have. Objective markers and stuff like that. It's nice to see that there's a lot of them, 8 for each team. One thing I found sometimes when you're trying to do a big cool race in Icecool 1 and 2, when you combine them, there wasn't necessarily enough fish in each colour. You had to be like, these are your team colours. So it looks good that they've got rid of that here. I do really like Icecool, and I kind of do hope that they make it compatible in some way, or just make it awesome. I will certainly be using like the launcher, and maybe even having the upper floor. I think I'll be using that because why not? It will just make Icecool even better. But I'm hopeful that this is going to be taking the whole experience to the next level, as they like to be saying. Few stretch goals, a power-up card, a new scenario, and a nice little bombshell mini expansion. Why not have a launcher that is literally firing bombs? That's an awesome thing. they've already announced the next couple of stretch goals. That's always quite a nice thing. There's a pin that you can get, and they are talking about doing social goals. So here though, easy setup. Assemble the game board. Well, we know from Icecool 1 and 2 that's done in seconds. Yes, you've got to assemble the upper floor, but I don't think that looks like it's going to take much time at all. Pick a scenario and maybe put in your instead of your fish, your tokens on certain doorways or different areas and stuff to indicate your objectives. Place your mechs and basically get going. Are you flicking? Are you launching in? And different things like that. And basically try and win. I really like the simplicity of it. It's not trying to overcomplicate it, because Icecool wasn't a hard game. And while they're trying to make this, have that bit much more to it, in terms of it's got the different ability cards and the different missions, you don't want to get too far away from that core gameplay. And to be honest, I don't think they have. They've actually released a couple of different videos on it, so you can see it working. So definitely go and check those out. There's been some previews, and yeah, you can get some extra bits and pieces if you really want to. All in all, let's whiz back up to the top. All in all, they say it's the next level flicking game, and to be honest, it looks exactly what I would want from it. The price point, I think that's going to put some people off him, if I'm being honest. It is quite expensive. But I am a huge fan of Icecool 1 and 2. So for me, taking that next step to see what this is going to be like, having played it, I like the changes they've made from prototype phases. And they have shown other prototype bits off, how the mechs have evolved, how the launchers evolved. Well, I've seen some of that, and I played with the old one, and I had some fun, and it was like, this is awesome. And it does look like they have refined it and everything since then. So, anyway, that's my thoughts. My backing this month, I've gone for Iron Forest. That's what I'm backing on Kickstarter. Let me know in the comment section below. Are you backing? Are you excited for it? Have you even played Icecool 1 and 2? If not, do it. They are incredible. And until next time, have a great day gaming.